Okay, Dr. Vivian, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know. Can you hear me from my end? If you can hear me, please let me know. Can you guys hear me? I think Dr. Vivian is trying to work on her audio, but let me know if you can hear me. If anybody can hear me, please let me know. Thank you so much. So, welcome everyone. I think there's an issue with Dr. Vivian's audio. Thank you so much for all the messages. I thought it was just from me, but I would say welcome, 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 everyone that is online. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited anytime Phoenix Gate calls and I answer because it's an amazing community. And as you know, I think we probably would have interacted with some of you online on LinkedIn, and we already feel like we're family and like I know everyone. So if they're telling me to count on the people that I know, I count, this LinkedIn community as one of, my family members. And I'm so excited. I'm glad you can hear. I already saw people writing, I'm here. It's glad to be here. She'll definitely come on and take control. Today, I am going to be talking about public speaking, and it's one of those things that I am so excited about. Okay, Margaret said, thank you for the invitation, Dr. Vivian Magnus. Not to worry, she's going to come and do her powerful intro as usual, and also introduce as much as possible when she comes on. Okay, he said the long awaited moment is here. Who is ready for another dose of knowledge? Princess, I see you. Glowing always. Thank you. Now you guys are going to make me blush, even though I'm not fair and you can't see the blush. But I will say welcome everyone on behalf of Dr. Vivian. Thank you so much for joining again. It's been weeks and months of this incredible platform, sharing knowledge, gaining knowledge. I've learned a lot. I've met amazing people, including you. Yes, you. And today is not going to be any different. I'm sure she'll want to make an introduction. I'm just going to speak briefly on what I'm going to be talking about, public speaking. And public speaking, I've come across, and I think I wrote a bit about it last week. And so today I'm going to have an expose, which I'm excited about. Dr. Vivian is back. I guess Dr. Vivian wants to say hi.
Probably just confirm you can hear me. I had to use my old device.
Yes,
I
I
don't know
can
what's
hear
going
you.
on now. Can you hear me now? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mel. I'm already
Yes,
super
I can hear.
excited. Okay, so every time I have an opportunity to sit right beside you, okay, I feel hot. Some like I would say again, most people wouldn't even know like how come why the almighty apostle, right? A lot of people will also not know this part about you, but then of course I like to keep it to myself, but let them just know that I have an apostle of the marketplace. It's shown up for me. So sorry to turn down that device. But then I'm always so honored to have you, Ma. We're talking today and I was telling you, are you sure you don't want to, okay, so I'm not gonna let everybody know what the backstage talk is all about, but then I'll say it again that our curtains are super open wide. And for me, I'm super excited. If you're gonna be on this journey with us, sincerely, I look forward, always forward. Like, I mean, literally every week, I don't mind. So you could see that big save right there. I long for something like this. I think that was what happened last week again. We had some little challenge, and then it was unfortunate that it was both of us, the speakers, were having this challenge back to back, and then it kind of affected a lot of flow in our conversations that last week. And I was like, oh my god, if I had someone that is as well much more excellent and all that. So I don't mind. This is me probably just pitching at you in the open. I didn't want to tell you where I saw you, okay, where we saw this morning. But then I would say thank you so much for always saving the day. We honor you, we love you. So I just wanted everybody to know the level of I don't know. I'll leave a lot of gaps right there, right? But then I want to say thank you very much, man. And then for everybody who is coming in, as our manner is, we just want to say that we love you. Thank you for taking out time. I mean, there's nobody who probably hosts events weekly, literally for months and people still come out. Like, we honor you. That's why we actually made up our mind that this time around we just want to always give you an opportunity to have a proof of what you do with your time. And I'm saying it again, if you're probably just joining us for the first time today, you're super welcome. This is the right time to say, hello, it's my first time here, or hello, it's my first time on LinkedIn. I think I would need some help. This is where to cry out for help, literally, because you're going to find one. Okay, then I also want to add that remember that we are certifying for this event, and then, like we said, if you want to pay for it, it's fine, right? $20. It's just $20 for 4 weeks. So it simply means that you have to be coming weekly, or you just do a few things that we ask you to do. Things like, please help us share and save your share. I mean, you shared it, but then you save the fact that you shared, because we won't know except you show the proof, right? And then another thing you're going to help us do is probably in a week, find time in a week to just say something about what you learned. We just required one post, right, about what you learned, and then we're hoping that we're going to see it for the all of the 4 weeks, maybe just once a week in all of the 4 weeks, and then we can probably certify, because that's the only way we know that you actually came around, right? And then we just want to say that this is actually the outreach arm of a very big community, right, that is looking forward to see you monetize. Even my dearest ma'am here as well, she does monetization as well. She's a monetization coach. Literally, it's a community of people who would help you make money from LinkedIn. So please, every time we come out weekly, we don't want you to forget that you can actually stay with us and we can actually make you implement. I think by weekend this week, you're going to see some of the things that we're able to do with our community members, because we're going to be having some set of excellent men and women graduating this weekend, and this is actually their project week. So if they meet you and they are hoping to get you on board for one thing or the other, please do well to kindly just oblige and just do whatever they ask you to do for them. Okay, like we said again, in the spirit of our conversations, you all remember how last week was, we're able to talk about the foundations of public speaking, on the fact that public speaking is literally for everyone. Okay, so the reason why you're probably not known is because you have not decided to start speaking much more often. And we said, don't say I'm a content creator alone, right? You can actually speak about content creation. So you don't look down on whatever it is that you can offer. So we talk about Vuzi, a business coach, but then he speaks all over the world. I mean, we could talk about endless lists of star men and women. Of course, you can't say that the reason why Chimamanda Adichie wrote a book is because she's a public speaker. No, she wrote a book, and then public speaking stemmed from the resources of the book. So this is literally what can happen to you now. I'm just saying this to draw our attention back to ourselves, so that you don't think public speaking is something that is way higher. So yes, I'm a community manager. You can as well write books about community managing. You can actually go from places to places, encouraging people on why should people have communities around what they do. And I know, sincerely speaking, I've never seen anybody explain the importance of community who is a community manager. I'm here to see it. So I'm hoping that I'm daring some of the social media managers who also double as community managers to start finding the empathy in what they do. Find your why, and then communication will be easy. And then, of course, speak all across the world will just be a stepping stone, because that's essentially not the end game. Before to our mem Olushola came in here last week as well, who spoke about, I mean, and ensuring that you memorize, ensure that you pay attention to whatever you're going to speak, ensure that you also, she said, have mnemonics for whatever it is that you hope to discuss, so that you can make it super easy, and then thought on a whole lot of things. So we said that every single time you have an opportunity to catch up, please know that we have these free resources. I plan to literally start taking down some of these things, right? But then, so just know that you don't have all week to have these materials, right? Stay in here as much. We said your conversation here would help you have the certification. But if you're not interested, of course, you can always go and come back and listen in. But then, how then do you prove that you've been trained if you don't have something to show for it? Okay, so in a few minutes, I'm going to look into chats for the evening. For those who have left chats here, and we're going to spotlight you and thank you. So please just go ahead and say whatever you do, right? Okay, awesome. So I can see people already saying where they are coming from. Please, one thing I would like you to do, okay, I'll turn on the overlay so that we can all see ourselves as well. Okay, so one of the things I also said was for us to pay attention again. So 3 quick things. So if you're just number 2, help us keep a documentation of your conversations here, right? Okay, then number 3, also help us post at least 1 post in a week in these 4 weeks that we're going to be sharing everything you need to know about public speaking. So I want to say again, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to be looking into our conversations, and as you can see, one of our excellent guest speakers for the night is already on a standby, looking to commute excellence. I mean, like I told you all, I have sat under her severally, and then you can expect nothing but fire tonight. I mean, it's in the spirit of our Phoenix to always ensure that everybody is doing amazingly well. Okay, so let me look through. Okay, is there any challenge in my audio again? I think those were old chats. Awesome. So please help me drop back some chats, because I think we're having a few old chats that might have overtaken. So I'm just going to look quickly. I can see Teresa say, yes, community is where the money is. Sincerely, I believe so. I believe so. Okay, so I can see Catman here. I'm so sorry, I won't go too way earlier, because the challenge of people complaining about the audio earlier might just seem like it's something that is happening now. So just permit me to just click from the most recent conversations. Okay, for some reason the chats are still old. Okay, I think it's from my own end, so I'm going to just give a moment. Go ahead and leave your conversations. Say something about what you do. Just don't forget about the spirit of the Phoenix Gates. We said every single time you have an opportunity to come in here, just leave a chat as regards how we can help you. So if it's your first time coming in, please just say first time here, so that we know that we can help you. And then of course, maybe when my team, when we have an opportunity to probably look through our conversations, we could just fish out a few persons who's probably their first time on LinkedIn. So if it's your first time on LinkedIn, just write FTL, first time on LinkedIn, first time at our events, FTE, so that we can as well help you. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rhoda, for that information as well, because at some point I was thinking that, okay, I don't have a recent chat so far. So please do well to help us share these conversations again, so that I could also spotlight you. Thank you so much. There is the first person to spotlight herself. She's a personable, progress-driven, and reliable social media manager, as well as a virtual assistant. So I'm hoping that you will definitely start talking about why people need to get social media managers on board. Okay, awesome. So I can see Austin Chisum, our excellent career coach. I am always excited to sit under him. I think I was able to be a part of his room last week, and it was mind-blowing. Thank you so much as well. Okay, yes, so he's from Lagos. Awesome. Okay, so first time on LinkedIn or first time at the event? So first time LinkedIn is FTL. First time at the event will be just, okay, awesome. Okay, maybe I'll just take here as event. So E. So thank you so much, Iretiola. Good to see some amazing persons right here. Yes, we welcome all the newcomers. Okay, give me a moment to look a little bit closer. I thought I could rely on this, but the chats are super slow. I don't know if it's from my back end, or it's just maybe people are not. Okay, so I just want to say good evening, everyone, and please do well to, if you're currently from, I can see stations, please don't drop any link, so that you don't confuse some of our conversation. Link for the attendance for this. So please, if you're here, we would want you to please desist from that. I wouldn't want to call names, but please don't drop any link here. Only our community members, and I'll spotlight the attendance for the week, right? Please don't drop in any link here. If you'd want to hire, like I said, please send me a DM, direct DM to myself, and then I will get some of the, probably have some talk with you, and then we decide whether or not we have people who are well suitable for that, because we are actually trying to prevent spamming and all that. So please help us by not dropping any other link. So the only link that will be here will be the link for the attendance, and I will spotlight that. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Just give me a moment, just 1 more minute. Let me look through. I'm so sorry, I didn't want Okay, I'm seeing a lot of FTEs. You're welcome, Danielle, much for coming as well. Okay, so I think we have a lot of time already spent. So do well to spotlight yourself properly. Let me see as many that I can do this for. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So please make your words a little bit fewer because I think you can see that it's almost closing up the page, and then I am supposed to edit some of these videos for our personal use in the community. So do well to just find something really fun to describe you do, and super exciting in a super exciting way as well. So give me a moment to look through again. Okay. Okay, so we've been able to have a few persons spotlight themselves. Our excellent princess. Today is Princess's birthday. Please let's go ahead and wish her a very happy birthday. We love you, Princess. Thank you so much for all you do for our community, and as well as every community that you are a part of. We are so excited to have you here. I don't know what it means, but then having you come in here on your birthday, that's, I don't know what honor is other than this. Princess, we just want to tell you that we love you, we celebrate you. Please, if you're currently on the comment section as well, please do well to just help us by probably tagging her in. I should leave a post for her this evening. I hope I don't get super exhausted during this event, but then I'd want to say, Princess, we love you. And every other person who is spotlighting yourselves, I'm sure you can see it already on our dashboard. You're welcome, Chinazo. I really appreciate you. All these are members of the community. I can see Evangeline. Thank you so much for all you do for us. I can see China Zasharon. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Please, let's just take a moment to probably just celebrate our darling princess because today is her birthday. And I'll just go into the compositions for the night. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to be a little more focused now because I didn't want our lead speaker to be in on every of our maybe let's call it introductory messages so that it doesn't feel like she's just sitting in on that. Okay, so in a few more minutes, we said again, if you're just coming in, I love you and I celebrate you. Please, let's get the comment section super fiery. I'd want us to just take a moment, maybe 2 minutes to celebrate Princess. Today is her birthday. You can as well just tag her on some of your posts, maybe on your comment sections or a proper post. I'm going to do that. I just want to say that I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you've done, like for our community. I remember the first 2 weeks when we started our public speaking eventually super helpful, and we just want to say that we honor you. On Facebook right now, please, I can see you all on Facebook. Please do well to always leave conversation. You don't want to make us feel like, okay, you just watch us. Please don't stop. Like we said, every time you leave a conversation, literally everybody will see your conversation. So do well to let us know you're here. All our people from YouTube, do well to let us know you're here. Like we said, this is going to be an amazing day already. We brought one of our best speakers. I mean, she's a 22-year medium veteran, and I don't know who is going to talk to you about on presentation, as in public speaking presentation, more than she does. Like I said, I'm even hoping that we can find a way to have her to come as often on this event. That most of the time there could actually some technical issues despite our getting all of the best materials that we could probably think of or handle. So I'm going to be handing over the mic to her. Thank you so much for celebrating Princess. Princess, I just want to let you know that we love you. If you want to go and celebrate the rest of your birthday, we just want to say that we understand, and then we honor you. Please do well and rest, right? Take a rest. I know that you're pushing so hard for so many people based on what you do. She's actually a veteran assistant, so I'm sure that you don't have as much rest as some of us might have. So please do well to take a rest. I mean, it's your birthday. So I'm going right in to bring our speaker for the night up again. At some point I was becoming uncomfortable because I was like, how will I bring her up? And then we're talking about the community. So let me just. Awesome. So thank you so much, ma'am. Please do well to just introduce yourself personally, because I want people to learn the energy of what you do and what it takes for you to host tonight. I want to say that the most thank you so much for giving us your time. I love you, ma. Always amazing time tonight with us. And
Thank
I'm
you.
already having my writing
Thank you
material. The
so much,
mic is
Dr.
yours.
Vivian. Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian. I love you too. As Dr. Vivian said, I'm Olaomi Heavens. It's another year, so I'm a 23 events, 23-year event and media veteran. I have been in front of the camera for 4 decades. The first time I was ever put in front of the camera was 4 decades ago. And I've had the opportunity not just to be a trainer, a speaker, I've had the opportunity to stay on live events. I actually love live events where, as I'm speaking, they're seeing me at home. And so I did that over the years for the various stations here in Nigeria, which is in Africa, and then across some other nations, which I'm very happy about. And it makes me happy. I kind of just think that the camera loves me. And I love it when I see people improve. I love it when I see people transform. And I'm one of those people that believes that there's no such thing as a dreadful speaker. If you start today and give yourself a year, you're going to do great. I'm also a developmental partner for 54 Siblings, which is an NGO based in America. I'm in charge of Africa and the Caribbean, and I love that. So we're going to go straight with the permission of our able Madam President, as I call her. We're going to go straight into what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've heard the reason why public speaking is important, while why you should just be a good public speaker, and how it is not just for TV presenters, communication experts, or customer care representatives on the phone. It's for every person. In fact, it's a strategy. I dare say that it's a weapon that will help you transform your positioning in whatever sphere you find yourself. If you're a student, you need it. You are going to present in your class. No, don't get to all those places where they say, no, you go, it's your turn. No, I've written it, you present. I've been there. I was always the presenter. But the funny thing is that some people use their time to research. They have the bin of everything, maybe spent even 21 days researching and putting it together. And then because they can't speak, they say, allow me, please help us. Do you know what that does? It takes the shine off the entire work that you did. Yes, it's a team, but you should be, even if it's just 3 sentences, to be able to say, I'm going to take this part. When I was doing this research, this is what happened and what happened. It shows that you have something. I'm not going to come out here, except I'm just a very nice person. I come out and say, oh, he did the research and we put it together. But most people are not going to do that, even at the marketplace or your office. So you want to ensure that you can present and you're getting better. Today, we're going to be looking at a few things. As much as possible, I won't, take too much of your time, but I want us to look at it in detail. We're going to be looking at, concerning this training, essentials, those just essential techniques. We're going to be looking at practical things that you can do. We're looking at etiquette, the practice of how to master your presentation. Of course, we're also going to be looking at how, you can be clear, be confident, how you can engage your audience in a better way. And it's something, as I said earlier on, that you have to practice. For some of us, we're already speaking. Even for me, I tell myself, allow me, you need to up your game. You need to keep getting better. Because the day you decide that you're perfect, you're so awesome, because people are telling you are awesome, you realize that you just plateau. You're not going anywhere. So I'm going to first of all start with practice. I think one of my posts I wrote about public speaking, and I said, practice, practice, practice. Someone sent a message to me and said, oh, I've not had the opportunity to practice. People have not called me. People don't want to experiment. It takes a lot for people to bring you on their platform and have you experiment with it. What happens if you freeze? So you want to practice before you get there. Now, some people might tell you, okay, start your own thing that you practice there. That doesn't mean that you will not freeze. So I'll tell you, when it comes to practice, don't wait for a formal invitation. Because great presentation starts with preparation and practice. So I will tell you, number one, start to rehearse aloud. There are some people that I met, they don't like the sound of their voice. They don't want to hear themselves talk. I don't know if you are shy with others. Should you be shy with yourself? I don't think so. You need to get to know yourself. If I meet yourself in front of the mirror, I don't think a lot of people do that. I think it was Coach Izu that was saying on one of the platforms that I was a speaker on this weekend, that have you introduced yourself to you? And people said, no, I do that a lot. In fact, I've done that for years, because who you are keeps evolving. Meet you. Introduce the best version of you to yourself. Hello, everyone. I'm Olaomi Heavens. I'm a speaker. I'm a dynamic speaker. I'm an event planner. I'm a strategist. Come there. When you start, you might feel awkward. You might feel weird about, just talking in front of the camera. Even your neighbors might feel, is there something, happening? But the best TV presenters, the best speakers actually stand there and speak out loud. We're so fortunate for technology. You have your phone. You can record yourself. Before you even put out anything on YouTube, before you decide, okay, I want to do live like everybody else, record yourself. Find out how you talk, what your body language is like. Am I clear? You might be surprised that when you start speaking and you are feeling conscious, that you start to drag your words and some words start slurring. But you don't know, because you have never heard yourself speak. And if you come on a platform like this and you talk, nobody is going to come back and tell you, yeah, you slurred your word a bit, except your best friend is here. So observe yourself in front of the mirror, record yourself if you have to. And then I also encourage chunking. I don't encourage cramming, but chunking is a method where, you break your speech into your expressions and your gestures. For instance, your intro, what you want to say. For if you want to break into the next thing that you're about to say. So you are taking notes. It's just like the way you read for exams. I studied history education. My major was foundational education. Minor was international relations. So history is a lot. But instead of other people that will cram everything, I know that if you forget a line, it might be an issue. So instead, I will write CREF and say C is for creativity. F is for this. The same way can help you when you speak. You break it into sections. You break it into keywords that when when I get to the end of this, it's time for me to break into another thing. That way you pick, just put it together in a lovely way. Another thing you can do, if you have the opportunity and it's a physical event, try as much as possible to visit that place, visit the stage. One of the things you realize is when people are starting out in terms of just speaking on stage, when it's not virtual, because that's a different ballgame entirely. You need to learn to use your stage. You can't just stand. We're sitting here, we can't move around. The most you can see me do is this, and see my face and see me laugh. Even when I'm laughing, I'm not going too much backwards so that I'm not taking you away from the way you're seeing me. Even from your angle, you're seeing me right, but from my angle, I'm tilting downwards because I've looked at myself to tilt downwards because I need to present my face in a particular way. The same way, if you're on stage, and because I'm a thespian, I used to practice on stage, do national theater, all those likes. There's a thing called upstage, downstage, center. So when you are speaking, we're not saying jog around the platform, but when you're speaking, it commands respect when you move from the left and say, and so over here, I'm sure you can hear me clearly. And then you move again, pace yourself. That way, when you come back tomorrow to take that same presentation, they just feel as if she's so confident. He's so confident. It's because you have been on that stage. You familiarized yourself with that particular stage. And then you realize that the way you present will be absolutely different. If you are on a platform like this, some of the things, and I'm still going to talk about that probably, some of the things you also need to look at is, like when we used to have audio. People are listening to audio. I can't hear you. I can't hear you properly. It will be an issue. Something is making serious noise. Of course, sometimes you can't help it. People might be around you. But you need to be sure. Try your best. Not when you are talking. It happens to us sometimes. My toddler will try to find a way to get in. But not that when you're talking, everybody's screaming, things are happening, and you expect us to just magically erase them in our minds. It doesn't happen that way. Most times you are distracted. Some people will not tell you, but they've reduced. I heard. You said I hate my voice. Truth be told, I felt like it was so weird listening to it. But with time, I'm getting used to it. That's amazing. I'm just reading someone in the comment section. You need to get used to your voice. That's who you are. The same way when you say, People don't like me. If you look down, deep down at people who say that, they probably don't like themselves. So they don't know what it means to really like them. Do you understand? Love your neighbor as yourself. So get used to the tone of your voice. Practice. Now, if you are going to go for a presentation, like today, I was so encumbered by so many speaking assignments. This kind of thing, if you were coming to my class, I would like to have a PowerPoint where your eyes can be on the bullet points. You go for some trainings, especially when I go for trainings, you have to ensure, don't assume that because I'm talking, you remember everything. Some people will take a screenshot. Some people will, take a picture on the screen of what you're teaching them, meaning that visual aid is important. Sometimes you have to create your own visual aid. I'm not saying just PowerPoint. PowerPoint, of course, has to be fantastic. And one of the don'ts when it comes to PowerPoint, don't overwhelm people. You can know at the back of your mind I should come with a visual aid, and then you come with 20 pages. And the question is, I don't understand why. You notice that when your posts are too long, there are some people that just read in between or read the bottom. In fact, from their comments, they didn't read anything. Maybe it's not their fault. It was just too long. It was too much for them. The same way you come and then I see 20 slides. I'm like, oh Lord, except I'm coming for something that we know that this is how it works. There are some professional courses that it's not, nobody cares if you are interested, if you are happy about the slides. But when you come as a speaker, you want to captivate people. Your slides should have pictures if possible. I like my opening slides having my picture. Some people get fascinated by it, just like when I see some people on LinkedIn and I click to follow you just because of the way you look. It might be weird to some people. They think, isn't that, it shouldn't be like that. Sisters, brothers, we're on planet Earth. We are moved by what we see. So on your visual aid, you should have pictures if you're using a PowerPoint. If what you're speaking at is a training, you can have stickers. The stickers can be different colors. So before you start handing out for people to write their answers or ask questions, you'll be surprised that even adults will be so excited because they can see pink, red, yellow stickers. That's what I do when I train. I bring out those stickers. I don't use just forms. Why? Because when I take a training that is really long, before your tea break, some people are just like, let them just do this thing, let's go. But when you bring out stickers, every person has a child in them that shows up. They want to see what it's about. Funny enough, it might not be anything. It might just be for you to write on it what your question and comments are, like sticky notes. So you want to take advantage of that also. If you want to have feedback forms, you can do that too. All these are visual aids. You can bring examples. Have you seen any of those videos online where someone is talking to you? You don't know why they are pouring water from a jar into another cup. That you can't feel anybody else if you cannot feel yourself. And you're taken in by the water they are pouring and every drop that is dripping there. You know what they're doing? They're taking your attention to something other than them just for a few minutes. You are wondering what is going to happen to this. Is it going to pour over? What's going to happen? Is this thing going to run over? They are using visuals to take you in and make it interesting, make their presentation have other sides. Of course, contrasts, you ensure that things that you have put there are readable, and it works all the way like that. Also, please, if you have slides, it's a temptation. Avoid the temptation of just reading it out. Am I saying you can't read from your slide? You can, but explain it like you were the one that wrote it. Don't just go there and then you read the whole entire slide and you're just reading it. No break, and it's your presentation. That's really not a presentation. It's the same as teaching. Some teachers come with their textbook and they just pour it out and you can tell what line they are saying next. So you want to ensure that if you're using a presentation, don't just read out. Try to explain to people. And of course, demonstrate with your props, just like I said, if possible. And if you're given an opportunity, please use videos. Videos are a great opener, especially if it's a physical event. Look at when you come on board. It's different from when we're at Phoenix Gate and we're starting and we just go right in. Have you seen the difference? I'm going to ask, you don't have to unmute, Dr. Vivian. Have you seen the difference now that we have the Phoenix Gate intro? It's like a movie before we start. We have an intro or we have a video or something playing. That means videos do a lot. At least I get excited when I see the videos of Phoenix Gate right here. Some of the things that I would also tell you is that, as we saw today, technical glitch is possible if you use technology. Very possible. So you might get to a place and you already, presented a huge PowerPoint, and that happened on one of the platforms where I was speaking on. Speakers were struggling with their PowerPoint. Some of it was because of, the practice was not there before we started, and so they didn't know which button to click on, which you should familiarize yourself with whatever platform you're using, especially if you're online. So that even if you have to tell the person, please, I've never done this before, please, can we just take like 2 minutes to make sure that I know how to share this presentation, then do that. But if something happens to you and your presentation doesn't come up, is that the end of the presentation? Is it going to end with that? If it is virtual, make sure that it's on your system. You can take it from there. If it is physical, please don't be shy to have a tiny note that has just pointers. I'm not saying write the whole thing that you can read. Just some things that will remind you. You know how we're debating when we're kids, and sometimes your teacher will tell you, take a marker and write something here, and you look at it and you remember economy. Yes, the economy is a better. Do you understand? Refresh yourself so that people are going to be distracted. Immediately the thing is not working, well, just take a break and say, you know what, we apologize for technical issues and we're going to be taking it from here. Hopefully they can work on it. But meanwhile, if you're sure if you need time to just balance up, you can actually give feedback to your people. Like, okay, so the first session while we had no technical glitch, did you get anything from it? While I'm going to take 1 or 2 people, any volunteers, please? While you're saying any volunteers, please, you as a speaker, you're already getting into your plan B. In your mind, you're already calibrating, okay, where was I? How do I take the next thing? That's how when you see some people, when they're presenting, and it looks like something happened and they're not flustered. Number 1, they've practiced. Number 2, they have known that just in case there's a plan B. I'm an optimist. I always say it's going to work out. It's going to work out. But I'm also the event planner in me. Always know that everything that is anything can go wrong. And if you think that way, you will know, if this happens, what am I going to do next? If microphone doesn't work, what should I do? If this shuts down, what exactly am I going to do? So you want to make sure that that is in place before you go on. Also, I'm going to tell you that most people who train or who speak, if you have an opportunity, depending on the kind of speaking engagement you have, you might want to ask, have people ask you questions. If it's something that is worth it, what people are going through, the things that are supposed to train people, you might want to take down questions. You might want to give them the opportunity. Don't just speak and then it's over. Except it's an event where it's not necessary that they ask you questions. But you might want to get feedback. Things like, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to ask me a question. So when you see speakers say, oh, please take down your questions, we'll be taking it at the end, it's because they want feedback. Do you know what that does? A lot of times it makes people listen even much more because you're waiting and you want to put together something intelligent. I don't know if anybody has seen the difference between the audio and the video. Like when they say, prepare, write what you do on the platform, we're going to be spotlighting you. It makes you think quickly. You prepare something. And if you are wise, you will prepare it before the meeting and just copy and paste so that you're not just typing. So that when they say, now put it, you just put it there. The same way, when you ask people that if you have a comment, if you have a question, people start thinking and start to put together things, even if they didn't at the very beginning. Also, sometimes try your best to paraphrase, especially if you've said something really long or something that you feel like they won't get, or something that is complicated. Just pause a bit, paraphrase what you have said. The same way, I'm sure when you see me here, you notice, if you are very observant, that I take a pause from time to time. It's not a long pause, but it's enough, number 1, to move me to the next thing. And it's enough also for people to feel, oh, she knows what she's doing. She's confident. And it was something I learned from my mom. I did impromptu speech contests for JCI Nigeria. years ago, and I won, but they didn't give me my gift. I've not forgotten. And I'm talking about 23 years ago. I've not forgotten. Anyways, when we did this speech contest, there was something my mom told me. She said, everybody has butterflies. And I tell people too, everybody, the best of the best speakers, sometimes you just get there and your nerves start to act up. Of course, I always tell people, take breathing exercises, pause. Some people, I asked a lot of people, what works for you? Someone said that she prays. I pray too sometimes. I'm like, Lord, calm my mind, calm my spirit, calm my soul in Jesus' name. And it works. Sometimes I take a deep breath and breathe out through my nose, and it reorders me. Because sometimes you're in a hurry to do what you're doing. Please bring this, pass that, bring the light, and then you're flustered. But when you take a deep breath, when you pause, it actually makes people think, oh, this person is confident. But when you are rushing, you just come online, and imagine I came on and I said, speaking is the reason for public speaking is for you to be able to, and then when you move from there, you'll be wondering what is chasing her. Number one, you're not hearing. Number two, you think she's nervous or she's afraid or she's not used to the camera. But when you take a pause, when you take your time, when you're speaking, I'm not saying go, hi everyone, not that. Just in between, it actually helps your speaking. It helps people hear you. It gives clarity. And then, of course, it gives this semblance of confidence. And so take your time, also knowing that there is no Superman anywhere, just people that have practiced, and practiced. Now, I also will tell you, and I think I've said it a couple of times, maybe on my post and some of the places I've spoken, exercise your voice. You know, your tone, because tonality is key. Some of the things that I tell people, hum if you have to. Like I got on the platform, I think, was it on Friday? And the first thing that the amazing Ms. Ogoza said was, you should hear her voice. And unfortunately, yeah, and I don't know if you can still hear it, my voice has a bit of baritone to it, throughout the weekend, because I'd been in 40 days prayer, fasting. And so I was as if I was losing my voice a bit. But I kept humming. It might look like, are you one of those praying and humming people? No. Exercise. Exercise. Talk. Speak out. That's why when you hear people speak out, project, they practice projecting. It doesn't just happen upon you. Before you come on, blow air. It helps your vocal cord. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So I can tell what my tone is. I can tell where the level of my voice is at. Pace around, pitch to yourself. It helps you. That's amazing practice. You realize that you know how you sound. If I lift my voice a bit more, I know how it's going to sound to people's ears. If I'm shouting, I know how it is. I know how the level of my energy sounds like. You know, when people sing, they say speak from your, sing from your diaphragm. I don't sing, my husband does, but I know they'll say, no, you're singing from your chest. I don't know what that means. Anyways, I have an idea, but they'll tell you you're not singing from your diaphragm. The same way you can be talking and you're not talking from your diaphragm. Meaning we can't really hear the push. There's an energy that comes with you when you speak sharply and you speak from your diaphragm. So you want to do that. Imagine if I come. Yes, we have various temperaments. We're going to be different, especially when we're talking. Okay, I see that comment. Say rushing to speak can lead to confusion, but calming down allows clarity and confidence. Absolutely. So imagine that you're speaking and then you come and say, good morning, everyone. My name is Olami Heavens. It gives a different energy. Number one, you might have lost half of the people you're speaking to because they feel like, number one, is either you don't want to be there, you don't know what you're saying, you are afraid, one of those things. Then please, I want to mention this. I appreciate that you're just fresh, you're stepping out for the very first time. But could we break the habit of coming on and saying, this, except it's a learning platform where we want to know and then they want to correct you. Don't come on and say, oh, I'm going to be speaking today about public speaking. This is my very first time, so bear with me. If you make a mistake or you stumble upon your words, people are going to say it's because it's her first time. She's very nervous. And it's not true. It happens to everybody. You're just going to have to correct yourself. So don't shoot yourself in the foot before anybody notices it. Just go, improve yourself and all that. And one of the things I would also mention is your tone. I mentioned tonality earlier on. If you're speaking and you are just speaking at one level, for instance, I come to you and I say, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be speaking about public speaking today. And public speaking is one of the things. Is something weird about it? Is that my question is that how you speak on a normal day when you're at home with your friends? Is that how you speak when you're with family? If something is funny, are you guys going to say, it was so funny when I saw him? Very funny. That's weird. So your tonality, and it takes practice. That's why I said, I think I was talking to the Afghan girls, I was training them on public speaking. Part of what I said is acting will help you. Act. Try to act. Go to your mirror. Give yourself a role. You don't have to be the biggest actor in your nation. Just act a bit. If I was going to be upset, you should hear it from my voice. You should hear me upset. If I'm very upset and I'm talking to you, even if you can't see my face, you can tell this lady is upset. I can't take it. I can't. You can hear the tone of my voice changing. You understand? It's changing. It's you. Bring yourself, the original you that is in your house that nobody can see. Bring that person. You see, there's a spice in your personality that people need to know. Now, don't expect that everybody will love you. You're not rice. You're not bread. That everybody will love you. Even the way I'm talking, some people might feel as if she thinks she knows everything. It's possible. Meanwhile, some people will say, oh, there's something I can learn from her. The same way when you come out, don't expect everybody will like you. So if you see a nod of in the crowd, don't let that affect you. Turn elsewhere and continue what you're talking about. Yes, explain it with originality. Yes, you have to be original. That's it. It's you. Be you. Don't be a clone of some other person. As I'm talking to you, take the structure of what I'm saying. Don't come on board tomorrow and then sound like me, or try to make your voice that is the way her voice is. There's no such thing. Improve on yourself. What is my tone? How do I go up and down? How will people hear the passion in my voice? And that's acting. You start by practicing. Says so, no Botox. No Botox, please. Age gracefully. The comments are setting me up. Learn to age gracefully so that people can see your expression, whether it's your head and much more. So let me not take too much time. Now, one of the things that I would also mention, of course, it's important the way you present yourself. Don't find yourself in a very formal, like when they told me to go and speak with architects, and you have to ensure that you know where you're going so that you can present yourself in that way. Imagine you find yourself among bankers, and because you're a presenter, you did not do your research, you came in jeans and t-shirt. Number one is going to take your confidence level from 100% to 0. Then they're not going to listen to you. Who are you? It's not in the suit, but you missed something. There's something wrong with your dressing and your attire. So dress for where you're going. Showcase yourself well. If you feel like you don't know dress sense, this platform, I'm sure we have some stylists. What can I wear here? Internet has even helped us. You can go online. For my shape, what should I wear? Should I wear black? Are they lawyers? Should I just have, even for me that I'm wearing something that has color, I'm very deliberate about wearing this color because it reflects on my glasses. Imagine if I just wore a turtleneck, I was looking all bandaged up, you'll be distracted. So it's beyond what you're just saying. It's part of the total package as a person when you're going there. So research where you're going. What are they like? Wear solid colors. If you have to wear bright colors, if you're pretty dark, ensure that there's a bit of bright color. Wear simple. Don't, bejewel yourself. You're going for an O1 party where it's taken away. Make sure that you're looking professional. It helps not only your confidence, but also how people perceive you. And it's not just about what you say, as I said, but how people perceive you. Because at the end of the day, if you give out, for instance, a form and tell them to give you feedback, and you break it down. Most people don't do that. And you break it down to speaking, comments, to how you presented and every other thing. There's a logic to it. We won't go into all that. When you break it down, you realize that some people will give you 10 on this, give you 8 on this. They will give you 0 on some things. But because we don't break it down to that point, we assume that all round we did perfectly well. Now, I'm not going to take too much time, as I said, and I think I've taken a bit of time. So your dressing is important. Of course, one of the things I will also tell you is manage being nervous. I mentioned earlier on that being nervous is natural, but there's some things that you can do. If it takes breathing exercises. When people say breathe, we think it's just Chinese monks. Even if you run to get to a particular platform, do you know if you take a deep breath, hold it, and breathe out through your mouth, as in hold it like for 5 seconds, in you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out. It's going to be a bit difficult, especially when you're very nervous. Then after a few minutes of doing it, you realize that it centers you. It helps you. Breathing exercises, speak out. If you have to go into a corner and shout in the bathroom, shout. There are a lot of exercises, but I'm just going to mention, just a few that can help you. Don't forget your power pose. Don't forget. And what's a power pose? Especially when you go for a physical event. People can tell from the way you stand that you are nervous. Practice how you're going to stand right there in front of your mirror. Some people will now hold their hands together in front of them as if there's something wrong, or they are afraid of the audience. When people are doing criminology, they actually look at your facial expression, your body language, and it's natural for human beings. We're looking at the way you are standing. Is it hand on hip showing that you're confident? Is it your hand by your side using hand gestures? Are you looking at people in the eyes? Please. And I will say, because of people who come from the culture where you don't look at adults in the eyes, there's a lot of that. When I was growing up, I was a bit confused because my father's side of the family, when they're speaking to you, they'll tell you, imagine you are even feeling very big. You're looking me in the eyes. Do you understand? You're looking me right in the eyes, dead in the eyes as I'm speaking to you. My mother, British trained, will say, look at me when I'm talking to you. So that was my dilemma. But the problem is, if you grow up in a community where you don't look adults in the face or authority figures in the face, you might have an issue when it comes to speaking. It shows confidence when you look at people. There's nothing going to bite you there. They are human beings. Do a staring contest with someone to practice. Where those staring contests you do in university, that who will look away first. When you do that, when you get on stage, it will not be a big deal to meet up with people's gaze. So that when you meet up with people's gaze, nod and keep speaking with confidence. And don't forget to smile. It's not a military camp, except you are invited to a military camp. Even with that, you should have some humor. So I hope that I've been able to do justice to it a bit, because if we expound on every detail, we'll be here for like an hour. But I hope in a way you've been able to take 1 or 2 things, and I will leave you with this. You see me gesturing with my hands, but there's a level of overdoing it. It's different from primary school when you say, our co-debaters, fellow, that's different. An adult, good afternoon. Yes, you can do that. But don't now go where at a point, we don't know if it's your hand that is talking or you. So hand gestures, smile, look at your dressing, look at being prepared, practice, and much more. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Dr. Vivian, for the platform. Okay, I can't hear you at the moment, Dr. Vivian. Okay. I think she's working on her audio. Okay, I saw a comment in the meantime that said, I tend to forget sometimes when speaking in public. I'm currently working on it. Oh, yes. And before I forget, Dr. Vivian, as you come on, sorry to cut you because I didn't hear your voice. So I'm hoping that you just need a minute to be able to take it. I've not been giving offers at all anymore because people have been coming directly to me. But I'm going to be taking some people by the hand on the platform. I'm going to give some people the opportunity, and I'm going to be giving them, in fact, I won't mention the off because I told myself I'm not going to be doing percentage off anymore. I've been doing this for too long. but I'm going to be doing it for people who need clarity, for them to hold them by the hands. And I've seen people transform on this platform, in this community, moderating, in fact, having their own community and speaking. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It takes practice and it takes, so if you want to be part of those people, please feel free to send me a DM on LinkedIn. Thank you again, Dr. Vivian. Mm. Okay, we can't hear you at the moment. We can't hear you. So it might be the network. Yes. Okay. Okay. So while we're waiting for Dr. Vivian, if you have a question, you can just put it on the side. Even if I don't get to answer, I'm sure there'll be opportunities to look through those comments and answer them. And of course, okay, you can't hear her. She's working on our audio, and you're going to hear her loud and clear. Just as I said, sometimes technical glitches. No, I can't hear you, Dr. Vivian. I have comments also, can't hear you. Okay, so it might be a network or technical glitch, but as I said earlier on, you have to be prepared, and Dr. Vivian is always prepared for that. And on this platform, that's what we're taught. So just in case you're the presenter or you're the co speaker, just show up and speak. Okay. So while we're still waiting, any questions? Okay, give yourself. Okay, some people said act, give yourself a role. Definitely
Oh,
give
I'm so
yourself a
sorry
role.
today. I don't know
Oh,
what's going on. Okay, so how about now? Can anybody hear me now?
perfectly. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging in there. I don't know how we started on this note and then today again. But then, like we said, we're always very excited. Always am very excited to always be here. So I think that's always what's more important when I show up here. And then I would want to say a big thank you, dear ma'am, for that excellent conversation as well. Okay, so she said something about breathing exercise, and I would want to say for most speakers, there's usually the 4-7-8 breathing technique that you should all pay attention to. So gradually, sometimes you would watch probably most of those breathing, what's the word? Techniques, and then you hear some people say, can you hold up to 10? I'll say, as a human being, you don't need to probably stretch yourself that long if you're not using it for something, probably like a swimmer, or you're probably somebody who sings. Of course, singers, you know that definitely our diaphragm should always be exercised, right? But one thing you might want to do is just to consistently, there's the 4-7-8 technique. It means when you're taking in the air, you literally just take it in slowly for the count of 4, and then hold it for the count of 7, and then release it over the count of 8. Most times when you form a circle of things like that, and then of course, like one of the things she said tonight again is the mentality of expecting war. Like literally, you're going to come up and then your camera is not going to work. Like everything that was happening literally today, your audio is not going to work. What are you going to do? Are you going to literally just transfer that pressure? Of course, if you have the luxury, right? That it's probably only you there. So we're going to have two. Okay, sometimes it might be the fact that you're there and you're alone. You don't have anybody to probably help you, or you have a speaker that you honor so much and you don't really want that drama around the person. Like you said, if you have the luxury of time, you might want to apologize, like she said, and get right into it. I would want to say thank you so much for this amazing takes tonight. I'm just going through the conversations to see how many things a lot of people are saying here. Okay, yes, and she said something about gesticulating as well. I think gesticulation essentially depends on your niche, right? For, of course, Gen Zs and then the new content creators, and if you, I think Generation Z, and then for the most recent persons who are going into the media space, you lead lots of drama, literally. So if you, of course, everybody will have something that they consider as their proper take. For medicine, they wouldn't even want you to gesticulate. I mean, your head. So if you're a medical doctor right here and you're in a ward round, it means that you're going to sit with your face straight. You're not even supposed to move your neck or your eyes or your nose or anything at all. You're just supposed to speak into the eye of the consultant. But then, of course, if you're for the media personalities, like, of course, our mem is just like she was trying to take you through it. You're going to pay attention to whatever rules, of course, your okay, someone asked the question. Okay, no problem. I'm going to see to that. Okay, so you're going to pay attention to whatever rules your organization has. But like I said, if you're starting out, some of your nuances, some of those gesticulations might just be something that would be outrightly something that will make you stand out. So if you go to TikTok, you see a lot of course, there are a list of superstars, or will I call them superstars, or content creators who have so many of these funny ones that people see and literally find funny. Now, the whole essence of everything I'm trying to converse right now is that you should just pay attention to stepping out. Of course, as you build yourself, depending on the niche that you need to step out in, some of these excesses will literally stop. So the goal is step out the way you are, first of all, and then, like I said, yes, the name that was trying to come to me was Zig Saloma. Zig is essentially like this. And then there's this characteristic walk, right, when they are trying to walls off. Like I said, this platform is not to create what's the word, zombies, or just have people who will take in some knowledge in out. We're also preparing you for the fact that, okay, somebody's not hearing me again. That's strange.
I can hear you.
Is it possible, or it's an old conversation? Okay, up to now, because I see somebody, I hope it's not that probably just went off. Please, if you can't hear me, do well to just show of what I'm going to do about that. So like I said, essentially, let you be the flavor. Okay, somebody's saying something. Give me a moment. Stream good. Okay, old conversation, but they are pop right now, so it's confusing. Okay, thank you so much so please. Okay, thank you so much. I think I understand now. So like I said, please come with your flavor, because we are now in a generation where the goal is, first of all, developing the frameworks, which is what we did tonight. We brought one of our excellent, I mean, I don't know what is 23 years to you, but that's like a full-blown child in the university. You're probably done with the university, and some of you right here at that age. So it simply means that this is a structure. I don't know how to describe the word now. For want of word, I just want to say that we got the best of hands to describe what conversation essentially is in this day and time. Presentation essentially, sorry about that. But then I want to say thank you, dear ma'am, for those excellent grace insights. I don't know. I mean, hot. My head is literally blowing out of proportion. Okay, so somebody's saying, Dr. Vivian, log out of StreamYard. Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I think you were probably trying to help me earlier on. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so somebody said you're still hearing me clearly. Awesome. Probably I'll just look through the conversation and see what the questions are. Give us a moment. Okay, now my screen is frozen. Please, if you can see the question from your end, please just take it, because I don't know.
Yes, there's a question. Someone mentioned, I think, my question is, okay, no one is right. They said, can you give us practical hands-on tip on how to deal with questions you don't have an answer for? Well, one thing I will tell you is, when you are going to speak, you are speaking probably on something you already know. But at the same time, if you're speaking about the story of your life, nobody can know it more than you. That's why you don't cram. Because when you cram, you feel like there's a particular way you need to answer the question. Sometimes you realize that that nobody is a compendium of knowledge, like knowing everything. Sometimes you can give feedback even to the audience. There are some situations where the person is asking out of the range of what you even know or what you're even talking about. there's no shame in even saying, wow, this is a new concept for me. Is there anybody that wants to help us in the house? Anybody who is in the, like, for instance, you come and bring a medical question to me and say, because I'm speaking nicely, I have no idea. I have sisters and brothers who are doctors, but immediately I'm like, is there any doctor here? Do you want to help us with that? Now, once you speak, I can now wrap it up in comparison or in link to what I am speaking about. That's the way it works. So don't freeze. And it's a rule on stage. When you're acting on stage, there's no mistake. Not that you won't make mistakes, but when you make a mistake, you flow with it. I'll give you an example. On stage, National Theatre, we had two, like you have 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, the same play. I was Adonla. I was the chief priest. That was decades ago. And they brought a sacrifice to me. I was supposed to take it off stage with me after I told them that the gods was the one that asked them, which was a lie. But I forgot it on stage at the second beat. As I forgot it, someone just snuck on stage, pretended like he was eating it and took it. It became comedy. People started laughing. Someone was supposed to run off stage. I had to literally throw him off stage because he forgot. Some people who sat through the two said the second was the best, where we made mistakes. But imagine I made a mistake and I went, oh my God, everybody now knows you made a mistake. They were not at your rehearsal, so they should not be privy to that. Then
Amazing.
one
Thank you
more
so
thing.
much, Ma, for
Okay,
that
sorry, I saw one more
contribution.
question. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Should I
Sorry, I
take
would want to
the one
clarify
question or you can take it?
Okay, just give me a moment. I think I can see through the comments about people complaining about the sorry, someone else is sending me a message here as well. Okay, so they're saying that the link is not clickable. What you do is just copy it. Don't click on it here. Just copy it and put it in a fresh browser. So if you're currently here and you're yet to sign the attendance, like we said, the only persons that we're going to prepare the certificates for are people who make all attendance. So probably will take today more stricter, a little more strict than we took last week. But then, so if today's your first time, we'll probably start counting it from today for you. So please, we won't give any certification until you make at least 75% of the attendance. That means we just said the first day introduction might not just be so we won't be so strict if today is the first time you're coming in. But if you come in now, we have to see you for the remaining 3 weeks. Thank you so much for that. So I don't know if you can see the second question. You could just go ahead and take it while I look into the conversations again.
Yes, I saw a question also about when is the best time to do the breathing exercise? Is it on stage or before? It has to be before. You know, there's no on stage when it's virtual. So you're breathing before you get there. Imagine I get here and as I came on, they said, now introduce yourself and start talking to us. And I go, you know, wonder what's happening to me. So it's actually before you get on the stage, you know, literally before you get onto the stage. That's the best time. I think those are the questions
Amazing.
that
That's awesome.
I saw. Thank you
So
so
I
much.
think I understand the premise or why the person was asking for that question. I think it's essentially, okay, let's say you're already ready for your event and then you came up and then you realize that, okay, you've not been talking and then things are happening, your camera. I think that's essentially what happened today. You might not have as much time. So I think it's more of a mental preparation that, okay, if you come up and then you're having certain challenges, it will just be something that you've told yourself before now that probably might help you hold some conversations through. It won't be right on spot. But then, of course, before you come up live, is always essential. You just practice the norm. Like we said, most of this what would I call most of these gesticulations, pressures is usually hormonal. Like we say it again, your breathing exercise will help break down some of the send you more energy to probably hold notes. But then we still say that there's literally a list you can do than having a proper mindset already prepared for an event. Okay, sometimes things could actually go bad, but then you move on, right? Don't be overtly prepared, right? In the sense that overtly say, okay, now it's going to go bad, let it be bad. No, just like she said, you will be optimistic. Then if it goes bad, you put yourself together. Obviously, you can't breathe on stage. Just imagine that we're having that challenge and I'm holding myself. I'll count 1 to 4 and then she is right there beside us and it would have been super funny. So That's essentially what I would say about that. So I think our second speaker of the hour is about to come up. So you might just give us a few minutes, but then let me see. Okay, somebody's saying something. Good question. Okay, so give me a moment to spotlight that. Let me just hide these chats from the overlay. They're super distracting for me. Okay, so if you have any more questions other than the fact that probably your the link wasn't clickable, please just copy it, paste it out of the browser. This is our second week of our classes. Our next speaker will be will be teaching us essentially on how we can monetize our public speaking. Okay, somebody's saying unable to copy as well. Oh, okay, so just give her a moment. I think she'll share it. And I don't think it's a hard thing to do. I actually can copy from here, so I don't know. So please, everyone, just remain calm. Don't worry. We're still here. You can always even reach out to me for the attendance. Just make sure you save yourself up in the conversation. Okay, so I'll just see a few things people said. I don't know why. Okay, so somebody said, so no Botox, you're saying. So I think talking about smiling there, when someone obviously probably has treated their faces and their faces probably can't make the right. Okay, let me go right back. Sorry, if you get it, you get it, right? Somebody will say, if you don't get it, forget about it. Okay, so be prepared for eventualities. Anything can happen. Also, see me, I can see that as well. Awesome. So Elizabeth said calming down brings about clarity and confidence. Thank you so much. So Comfort says practice, practice, practice. Awesome. And then Elizabeth said dress well, it boosts your confidence. Absolutely. Okay, so Halima said don't show your nervousness. Practice, practice, practice. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so someone said don't forget to smile. So that was where the Botox conversation came about. Okay. So let's see what's going on. So somebody said eye contact adds connection. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Akin, good to see you here. Halil says, okay, I think, can you give practical hands? Okay, can you give us practical hands-on tips on how to deal with questions you don't have an answer for? Yes, I think she has answered that. Then, okay, so this is a lot of praises here. Ada said you did so much justice. Thank you so much. So I'll be spotlighting some of the Thanksgiving here. Okay, Alo, thank you so much for saying that. Okay, so I'm hoping that we're able to clarify that. Austin Chisholm said your camera is not going to work. Tell me about it. Yes, so we had a little drama at his own event that last week, and I literally had to call him. I said, "What is the problem?" And it was his mic, almost for an hour. I mean, it was something else, but it became one of my best events this year. Right, so please, you might want to reach out to him and see how you can benefit. Okay, so somebody said, okay, so I think somebody answered also. Okay, so I think we're up to date. Okay, so Esther is also saying do a long press on the link, then copy. Awesome. So Rhoda says confident boldness is very important. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, I think we're up to date for the conversation. So if you have any further questions, please do well to just drop them in the comment sections. She will be backstage. She will just answer those even more questions. So please do well to reach out to her. So I'm going to add our next speaker for the hour. Just give me a moment. Okay, so awesome. So if you're just probably joining us for the first time, I would want to just do a little recap. Like we said last week, as we said in the beginning, again, we said that public speaking is not essentially a job, right? You can't say, what do you do? I'm a public speaker. What are you speaking? Okay, so of course, people can be MCs, like we said, people can be compares, people can be event veterans, all, there's a span of it, but public speaking essentially is a skill. So it means that it's available to everybody. And I can say that the reason why a lot of people are not making money is because they have literally not paid attention to the fact that there is the educational part of everything they do. So this is me. I keep saying it again. As a professional, know that there is a place for you to teach anything. So if you're currently here and you have a community, you have courses. Of course, I know that a lot of people will do online courses. They might just want to create courses and just save it up. So we are saying that the whole act of you probably just coming up with something excellent, packaging it up, that maybe requires you to converse, it's essentially public speaking. So anytime you're not speaking to just you, okay, you're speaking to that one extra person. Yes, you're sitting down beside your friend. Okay, so treat public speaking as that. So it simply means trying to share your idea beyond you, maybe to 1%, 2%, 3%. So for somebody who says that they're not public speakers, but you just finished gisting, I mean, this morning in church, you probably took the opening prayer, you probably took the charge, depending on the kind of church, you probably even took the worship. You sang out to the public. And then sometimes when you would have to do some of this speaking, it simply means that sometimes you have a Bible verse to quote and a few other things. So this is us just saying that, yes, this is a skill that can be upgraded. And today we're able to essentially everything around presentation was taught. So for people who are in the community, I've told you guys this week is our week. So our leaders, our students, this week is our week. So I'm hoping that everything she shared around, I mean, how to prepare for your event. So I'm hoping that you're already having that adrenaline rush. And we said adrenaline rush, yes, it's common to everybody. I have it right now. You will have it tomorrow. Yes. So if you decide, probably your group, so group goals, if you decide to probably have yours on Tuesday, you're still going to have that bubble. So we're saying that hopefully all things being equal. So that's what they call it in science. I mean, ceteris paribus, right? If all things being equal, you probably would have done your exercises and come on stage and everything works out. Then supposing it doesn't, of course, like we said, the most important thing is being able to share your content out. Okay, what is the purpose of the meeting? Yes, if I'm too fast, I slow myself down and ensure that at the end of the day, everybody who will probably be listening to me will go home with whatever it is. So I'll say again, the tool should not be more important than the content you came to share or the purpose of the meeting. Your tool, which is public speaking. Public speaking is a tool. I just hope that everybody who will probably be here should just take it. I cannot be scared of something I'm supposed to use, right? So the most important thing is my passion, my vision. I want to let people know that in a particular direction, they can be monetized. That is my vision, my passion. How do I share it to a lot of persons? That is my tool. So your tool should not be a reason why you can't share your passion. So we see that over the years, we've seen people who cannot just start. I'm scared. You're scared of what? Public speaking might not even be your main, what do they call it now? Your main skill. Okay, so of course you might have well, you can hear me already, right? I am not a public speaker in the sense of maybe, let's say, MCs, compares. I probably will not be one of the first people you might call on. But as regards to what I am called to do, I am called to open my mouth and let people literally feel the fire and the desire to literally start upskilling. So for everybody who is currently on this live, that is exactly what your positioning is. You are supposed to just open your mouth and let every vision, every honor, every gift bestowed upon you. So on no case, yes, on no situation should a tool eventually start becoming the reason why you cannot even release that excellent side of you. So that's essentially what we're trying to talk about today. And if you're just joining, I'll still say it again. I've not seen a community manager literally speak about the vision of community management, because literally community management, like somebody said at the beginning of this event, is the gold. But now, as a community manager, if you have not learn to start talking more on why people should start having conversations, then you are actually you're not giving voice. You're not giving voice to what you're called to do. So we are saying that essentially everybody who is here, everybody is called to speaking. Everybody is called to speaking. I will say it again. Everybody is called to speaking. I will say it again. So I said, like I said last week, again, there are voices in every niches, and it's obvious that some niches are literally doing super poorly, and that is where you come in. So when we hear about Vuzi, we know that he's an entrepreneur, a long-term entrepreneur, a very successful one who decided to share more about all that he knows about entrepreneurship, but then the whole world will call him to speak in several places. So of course, when he's going to describe himself, he will still attach public speaking. But the question is, what is he speaking about? He came to essentially teach you on how to move your business from point A to point B. And that's why we're saying, don't think that, okay, the whole essence of we probably having these classes right now is to make you feel like, okay, it's something that you should probably wait until you have all your dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's before you start speaking. I say start speaking anyway, because by this time next year, you might actually be the one whom will visit on your platform. Obviously, for the members of our communities, by this week, we're going to be visiting their platforms. I'm going to make a whole lot of noise around it because they are our people and they're going to be speaking. Some of them is going to be for their first time. Some of them is going to be for their maybe 1 million time. It doesn't really matter. But the goal is, what is it that it's burning really in your heart right now? How can you probably just prepare? So essentially what we did, okay, was to get somebody who has been super amazing in that particular niche to come and teach us essentially how to prepare. So I'm saying it again so that people might not hear all these things we said tonight and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now this is going to be one thing. Ma'am, are you sure I can do this? No, I'm saying this now because I know that the community people, so you don't come to my DM to ask me any of those questions. Like I said, when you have an opportunity to speak, what is your why? Okay, so I'm a medical doctor. Why am I coming out every Friday by 5 p.m. GMT plus one? That's the same question you probably should ask yourself when you have every opportunity to speak. All of a sudden, you find out that whatever pressure it is, even if you make an error, it will literally be nothing compared to, okay, is there one person who decided to probably start skilling up because I showed up? Then you're worth all my time. And that's why we do this every single week. And we're going to as well get as many amazing persons to come on board. So we're going to look into our conversations again. I think my second speaker is delaying a bit. No, I'll probably try to contact her. But if you have any questions so far, as our manner is, we'll still take some of your questions and then we'll see how it goes. Wow, we really did amazing this week. I'm so proud of whom we are and then what we've been doing so far. I just want to say thank you all for coming out as well. So please, if you're just joining in, please help us share. Like we said, we're talking, the next moment discussion we're going to be having is how we can monetize the opportunity to speak publicly. Maybe I should just start off my own journey. So I think sometime for medicine, you know that we always present like literally every day, every week. And most of our presentations are impromptu presentations. I'm not even comfortable. Even my videos that I make, I'm not comfortable writing script. Even though I make my students write scripts, it's just comfortable. I just feel like I'll be more natural if I talk as if you were my sister or my brother. I'm just having a gentle conversation with you and where I don't have any pressure for anything at all. So essentially that was what I did through medical school. Of course, 7 years, we did that every single day. Every round you'll be called to answer questions. I mean, so every round was essentially a public speaking opportunity for as many persons. So sometimes it could be like 12 in a round and people will be called up to have some conversations randomly or answer a question. So in that case, you probably will not have any time to prepare. You just would have just told yourself, whatever it is, I will be able to speak. So that's where the mindset of being prepared at all times to answer whatever it is that you'll be called on comes in super dearly. So for me, coming out of school and then I had opportunities here and there. I think one of it, I posted it, was it 8 months ago on LinkedIn? When I had an opportunity for a very large company here in Abuja, okay, said that they wanted their company to be trained, or let's say they wanted someone to facilitate health education for their staff because they noticed that, well, this were the concerns. Their staff members would always smell, they wouldn't use perfumes and all that. Some people will not wash their clothes, they will always just reuse it. Yes, and then because of the cadre of people that they had coming on board, I mean, just imagine that Dangote came around and is in the room with some security personnel and literally the smell was good. It was good. So essentially, I'm just trying to tell you how simple some of these opportunities can come up. I mean, somebody just sent me a message and was like, you're a medical doctor now, this is something you should do. And I've never officially went out, maybe let's say a contractual going out to seek out people who probably need that. Of course, I'm doing that now. Yeah, of course, because I found out that there are opportunities like that. I'm just saying this now because you might be a HR who is currently on this live events and you've been having challenges with your workers smelling well or not smelling well, not looking good, and you're wondering how to go about it. Some of these trainings also facilitate, they help your staff probably leave to what's the word now? I want a better word for this. It helps your staff essentially to probably come to what's the face of your company, or to probably properly showcase, yes, the vision and the mission of your company. So essentially that was how mine started. And then I could tell you the money was in six figures, and it was my first time. So like she said, I won't go there and I'm like, I get into a class, I'm like, sorry guys, I'm a medical doctor, but it's my first time. So please just calm down. I'm going to try and teach all that I can teach. Some of you are smelling, that's the worry. So I just came here. No, essentially what she said, this is me probably sharing the practical side of it so that you can all just pay attention to how simple this can be. First thing you do, come very early. Essentially what I did, I came with my questionnaires. I mean, overtly, you need to see the stacks of questions, because I literally had to work with all the staff members, right? And it was my first time having to face numbers of persons. And then this is me talking about after going full-time remote. So a lot of my events were and then all of a sudden I have a life, and then I'm supposed to teach about this thing that I probably not talked about in a very long time. I'm just teaching about skilling or monetization online. But then of course, medicine, you just don't lose medicine, right? And then the topic was something that I love. I'm a public health student as well, a master's student. So I knew that, okay, this is essentially where I should show up my excellence and all that. What I did was essentially the same thing. Printed some of the questions. Those are the icebreakers. You can early find out who keep their names. I mean, have acronyms of their names based on how they look. So you see that somebody might say her name is Justina, and then maybe because of the way she smiles, you just figure out that, oh, she just feels like she's just. So make sure you don't lose that name. Even if it's 3 names that you're able to match to any of the people who are currently having conversations, make sure that those 3 names are matched so that you don't mistakenly call another person's name. And then you would want to share those questionnaires. Already, by the time you share the questionnaires, you know their ranks. For me, that was one of the things we did. We wrote their ranks of what they would normally do. So I put it side by side. So I knew the highest cadre of workers who were already in the board. And then I knew how vulnerable. So it was more like, okay, these people are vulnerable to me. I am vulnerable to them. I laughed. Let them introduce themselves. Sometimes you see a lot of people say, introduce yourself. Those are one of the common icebreakers. So while you're trying to hold your breath to have a proper conversation, you get them talking. Let them say something about what they do. That's where probably, the thing is, sometimes when you don't know people, it can put this whole facade around them as if they are all high and mighty, and then you can't have the conversations. Now, those icebreakers help you disintegrate them. All of a sudden, you realize that this is a human being like you. This people probably didn't go to school, but then maybe he just did a diploma and then he's currently in this position. Or maybe this executive actually read agric. I'm not that bad. Do you understand? So finding ways in your mind separate people into different cadres, and then you now figure out that oh my god, this people are essentially like me. So that's number one step. So part of things we did was that, and by the time I had finished having some of my conversations, sorry about that, I think my kids lit up some balloons there. Okay, so by the time you have some of these conversations, you find out that this thing is actually what you're born to do. And by the time I was done, guys, I spoke for 4 hours straight. So, no, and people were laughing all through. Yes, that was one thing she probably didn't add. Learn to add humor, right? Find ways in your pressure points. You can put appropriate humorous points where it can also help these people feel like you are one of them, right? Depending of course, the kind of speaking said somebody's audience research will also help you that, okay, this person is a C-suite, so I really watch, if they watch the Super Bowl, if they do this, they are more interested in football. Just do audience research. And sometimes if you probably are not you're meeting them for the first time, like I said, already help you. So you probably did a research based on what maybe the social media manager placed online, but having your own questionnaires on ground would literally disintegrate, because that was what happened to me. When I researched online, I saw a lot of, oh my goodness, they were putting their Paris, you see this person coming from the UK, the US. Most of the top voices currently in the government had visited the organization, and those guys were super smart. They put their best foot forward. So some of these things might be a pressure point for you, not knowing that, oh, these are people that you can actually just interact with. By the time you have your own in research, maybe by the time, like we said, when you're going to places like this, please try not to go alone, right? Always have somebody whom you can just speak to, maybe a friend. Just ask your friend to tag along. If the person can act as your secretary, all the more better. Your gait, your stance as you enter there, your heels as a lady, I would advise. I don't know how people feel about heels. So if you can, maybe your mind can carry it, wear your heels. You need to be bolder, you need to be taller, you need to be the tall person in the room, right? Because it's going to also give you a particular stance. Your conversation will be much more richer when you have some of these preparations. Like I said, go with an aid. Get one of your friend, call her, get two, get three, right? Let them all follow you behind as you're entering. Have that bus stand. Essentially, I'm not saying anything I didn't practice. So by the time I got in, it was literally, oh my goodness, the doctor. By the time I was done, the doctor, I'm like, okay, so that's lovely. So if you don't pay attention to some of this riches that are within you, you get to a point where all of a sudden it seems like, okay, the people outside are bigger than you. And that is where more nervousness can just come up. So it's possible that you've handled your pre-presentation nervousness, but while you're in the room and all of a sudden you see Dangote, just imagine if you had come in a little bit earlier and you see everybody and people probably just passed the notes around and you collated. What I did was I had an assistant who collated all the research materials, and she was just telling me, oh, these people, this particular set of people, these ones, the only buff ones. And those were my pressure points. I laughed because I said, oh, so some people don't bath. So no matter how heat Abuja is, some people don't bath more than once. And we were cracking up. And then you needed to hear some of the things they were saying. So when I went back home that day, I was probably internalizing it, and I was saying, my goodness, so these are the people that I probably would have been under pressure on. But some of them literally would say that, what is the importance of washing clothes again after probably using it once? So you can imagine the people you'd have been under pressure, even if they were top class, C-class cadre. Like she said, nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. So based on that time, whatever it is you've been given to speak about, just know that you are the Lord, right? You're the Lord of hosts. So that's where the word hosting is. Anytime you have an opportunity to hold the mic and you are hosting, you are the Lord of hosts, in the sense that you are being given charge of this particular sets of people, and then you better go to work because it's going to be fine, right? Find all your special, like we said, not everybody can talk and probably show their hands here and there. Not everybody can speak with their hands behind or matched at the back. Like I said, for our training, medical training, your neck should not move, your eye will not move. So you're just supposed to sit like this and you're looking at your trainee. So you're looking at your trainee. But then of course we know that Gen Zs right now, if you're doing any video and you're not doing this by head, and you're not doing, some people, they used to do like this. Okay, so sorry if you're from all across the world, you might not understand social media according to the global south. So welcome. I'm probably teaching you some of the things. And so if you find out some videos that go viral, it's not necessarily the prim and proper videos. It's those crazy ones. Well, of course, because we know that our population, again, is, I think that there is a research right now that says our population, I think 25, not maybe 15 to 45, being more than 75% also. So you can understand the kind of people who consume things online. So when we are teaching you some of these things, we're saying you should arm yourself with some of this knowledge as a proper public speaker, but then don't be under pressure, because every single time you have to step out, it's a different ball game. So I had a story, I think my pastor has shared one of this story once. He said that he had an opportunity, they hosted a crusade in a very deep bush. I mean, so everybody just felt like, okay, there was somebody who was always very eloquent among them, so the person should probably just take on the mic and speak, because the person did not read the room. Like I said again, it's always essential you read your room. The person did not read the room, and the person came up and started saying all this, I don't want to mention names of certain people who speak that way, but then they were doing that, and all of a sudden people started chorusing what the person said behind, and it was more like a jest. They were making jest of the person because the person probably didn't prepare well by reading the person's room. And then of course one of the things he said was that the most local person right there was asked to go and collect the mic and speak eventually. And guess what? There was calm all over the place. So like I said, this is not a day for you to sit down and start saying, okay, I don't know how to speak like this. I don't know how to speak like. The question is, what is your purpose at heart right now? What is the zeal that is burning first off in your heart? It should be prioritized, of course. So the message, okay, so your audience priority. So you're not, if you're not an MC, good, you're not an MC. You have never put it anywhere that you're an MC, but there is a reason why you came on live. You just want to make sure that the purpose and the vision that you were called to on any particular platform will come to fruition. Therefore, you explain that. So I would want to say thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, GMM, for sitting in excellently well, dishing it all out. So I'm hoping that a lot of us who are currently in the conversation right now will be able to share some of their tips. So if you were around last week, while I'm just seeing what is going on, I hope my second speaker is not having challenge because I haven't seen him up yet. Okay, so I will just take a moment to see if I could reach out to that. My team should probably reach out to him. I don't know. He's online, but there are some challenges here. It's probably network. So I'm going to just look into our chat so far again. So if you have any questions again to ask, maybe based on a few things I probably would have added, please help us know. And then please also help us by sharing this event as well. So let's see. Public speaking is sharing your content with others. Awesome. So somebody said note 2 should deny me of releasing the excellence in me. Awesome. So Abimbola said that. Sorry, my screen froze, my studio froze, so I can't overlay right now. So I'll just be using my second device. So somebody said, Lauren said, start where you are, feel the fear, do it anyway. Awesome. So Favor said, thank you so much for the encouragement. Thank you so much as well. So Teresa said, make sure your desire to be the tallest doesn't. Okay, this is some humor. Miss Teresa, you need to come backstage. You need to come and say something here because this is hilarious. She said, make sure that your desire to be the tallest doesn't cause you to start working with Stico. Okay. Okay, so sorry, permit me to laugh. She always cracks me up. Always. I don't know. I don't know if there's any day that Miss Teresa comes into any of our meetings. She's currently in our boot camp that she will not make anybody laugh. Okay, so let me see. Mommy M. Olushola said, okay, she said, please look at them and reciprocate with a smile. You need to connect with them. Don't look over their heads, please. Awesome. Awesome. So somebody, Princess says, cheat code to public speaking. Talk about the topic. You're the Lord of hosts. Yes. Like you're the Lord of hosts. Yes. So he said, talk about the topic like you're the Lord of hosts. Awesome. So every time that concept Lord of hosts comes up, I'm hoping that it's one of the conversations that we literally go away with today. So every single time you show up on whatever event you're hosting, as you're praying to God, as our excellent mama here told us to do, you also decide that you have won his quotes, right? You've prayed to God and then he has handed over the baton. And then the baton might just be a mic, a literal physical mic, maybe a headset in my case, or probably you don't even have any speaking device. You just have your phone in front. Once you are in front, you are the Lord of hosts, and everything you're going to speak for that night stands. So imagine that you're partnering with God to share your light on a particular niche. So the question will be, what is the pressure? Who exactly is marking your calendar or deciding how many floors you are going to have? So I'll say it again, speak as often until the pressure goes. The more you speak, like I said, when we started last year, one thing I had was passion, right? And I know that it can't be bad. So I'm saying it again for people who are going to be speaking this week, because like we said, part of our practical this week for all the boot campers is live events. So I look forward to being backstage and see some people cry out to the Lord. But then as you're crying out to God, I will be saying you are the Lord of hosts, so that we'll both share that grace together, right? Awesome. So I'd want to say thank you so much, Ma, for this extent. I don't know if there's any other thing you want to say. Like she said again in the conversation, she is an amazing person and she also takes clarity classes. I was also one of those excellent persons who benefited from her clarity calls. So please reach out to her for your presentation. She also does monetization as well as we do as a community. So please reach out to her to help you through some of this. So I'm going to be looking in again. If there's any conversation I missed out on, please just say your thoughts on what you think the topic, maybe what you've gotten so far. So if you were around last week, just tell us some of the cheat codes. I can see Mommy M right on our chats as well. Just go ahead and just say something that is super memorable. Like we said, we're going to be posting this week. Please do well to tag her and tell her that you honor her, you're grateful for this particular cheat codes that she was able to teach. Like I said, please, if you don't even remember some of the conversations, come to the comment section here and just quickly scribble some of the excellent ones and put it up. And please tag her. Don't go and write your summary and own it as though you came up with it. Please. It's always good to honor people who benefit from. I've seen a lot of people all around LinkedIn copying like their life depends on it. And I don't know what the idea is when you can just probably just copy somebody, like not copying. I mean, when I mean copying as in email copying, tagging someone, just tag the person. I mean, I just read from this person's post and I'm trying to probably come up with this ideation, or this is me trying to conclude. In fact, yesterday on my post, I told somebody who made a comment, I said, this your comment is going to be a post for me. I eventually didn't post it because I had like tons of posts to post between yesterday and today. But then I know that if I'm going to ever curate a post, at least I took a permission and told her that you actually inspired this. And I think that's what we should all live our lives for, right? Don't be doing as if desperation is one of the main things. So I'm probably just going to give a little time if we don't have any further questions today. I'm going to, maybe today will be the first time I'll leave if you'd want to come up behind the stage to probably share your journey. Maybe let me give some people in the community an opportunity to probably just break the ice. This is me just giving a few minutes before we sort out backstage for our third speaker. Like we said, we're going to be discussing essentially how to monetize public speaking. So I went from discussing how I started monetizing mine to the stories, like ensuring that I was incorporating everything that our excellent mama here has discussed. And then I'll still say it again, right? You don't know some of the millions that are accrued to your speaking until you start being visible. And the good thing about being visible is that you can actually be the voice. So if you're on LinkedIn here and you're garnering engagements, you're growing your platform, you're growing on YouTube, you're growing on Facebook, I will tell you once and again, your end result is public speaking for your niche. Just go and hang it somewhere and say that I told you. You are automatically a public speaker. If you can push any particular narrative, sooner or later, people will be dragging on you across the platform, outside the platform to speak. Like I said, for me, because I showed up more often here, a lot of people have seen my flyers everywhere. I just have people call me and say, okay, you're going to be speaking here. Okay, I'll just say on what I prepare, because if you're visible, you like, I mean, like a what's the word now? A lamp that is lit cannot be put under a bushel. You'll be called on to speak. So just prepare. So long as you started posting daily on LinkedIn, so long as you started posting daily on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm saying that because I can see some people on Facebook listening in on us, right? So long as you have started posting, you will be called to speak physically. And you don't want to wait until people call you and you start running around looking for coaches to get you on board, right? To help you. I said this is the right time for you to. In fact, some of you, by the time you're done with these classes, you're in fact just posting the fact that you are certified from the Phoenix Gate as being a public speaker for your own niche. You realize that a lot of people will start calling you. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, ma'am. You just find out that a lot of people will start calling you to start having some of these conversations. And I'll tell you again, you better be prepared. This is not the time to start claiming introverts, right? I know that a lot of us hide under that. I'll say it again. I am as well as a very good introvert. Some people don't even know that I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert that enjoys people. So long as church is closed and I don't have to go out, I can stay in house for months, going to years. I've done it before. As a teenager, I enjoyed that. So I wasn't somebody who had conversations, but once I see people, I'm lit. So I'm just hoping that some of my introverts family members who are already on the comment sections, who are willing to start saying, oh, the reason why I cannot make my 7 figures in public speaking is because I'm an introvert. You might just want to rethink that. The question I'll also ask you again, is your purpose loud enough to keep your mouth open? Is your purpose loud enough? Do you think you should be a loudspeaker? Okay, so this is me using adjective for you. Do you think you should be a loudspeaker for whatever you are called to? Then you better start preparing. So awesome. Thank you so much for listening in as well. So I'm going to check. I don't know if he's experiencing a technical issue. So essentially today is going to be about monetization. We've discussed on being able to find your target audience, reading your room, always coming earlier, right? Ensure you come in earlier so that you're able to probably pay attention to everything that you have. Okay, so in a moment, I think my excellent apostle, I call her my apostle, please permit me. There are lots of people in the community that I'm going to be calling specific name. I know that this is a professional place, but you all should permit me, right? She's my very own excellent apostle. She actually has a meeting by 7, so I had to release her in a bit. But then, like we said, you never know what you can literally earn from until you start paying attention. And one of the things I would also want to tell you is this: when you start creating content in a particular direction, so every time you hear niche down, niche down, niche down, well, there are the pros and cons. If you are just starting out for the first time, you might not generally just want to niche out. You just might want to just research and see where some of the first 10 skills that you have might easily suit, right? When you now decide to niche down, the beauty of niching down is that you're going to be having a particular conversation over and over again, right? So you can call me now on monetization, and I'll just wake up and I'll start teaching you guys some of the things you need to know about LinkedIn, some how you can monetize, how you can build a community, how you can do a whole lot of things with, pushing global visibility online. I can wake up and start talking about it, but it's not something that started in a day. So that's part of the advantages you might have if you're asked to niche down. So you already have you already used to making some conversations or saying some things over and over again. Now, if you're used to those kinds of conversations, you find out that when you are called to speak on them, you will not have any more pressure, right? So I think my studio is frozen again. Give me a moment. So I'm going to look through our conversations to see what some of us are saying again. So you might just want to let me in on, okay, so somebody said something. Let me see. I totally agree with you. Everyone should be prepared. Yes. So Ma'am Christiana said, everyone should be prepared to speak publicly. So somebody said, okay, Rhoda said, the cheat code I have gotten today is that public speaking is not an occupation, but a skill. But most importantly, it's for everyone. So if you're looking to make money, okay, so today, even before, when I went to my worship place today, I was speaking with some group of doctors who are in my worship place, and I was telling them, because there's somebody amongst us now who seem to have a big voice right now. It's called Aproko Doctor. All Aproko Doctor had to do was, first of all, stay behind the camera like I'm staying. He didn't even have the luxury of coming to a live event. So it meant that he had the choice of sitting behind the camera, preparing those videos. Everywhere there were errors, he will cut it out. Just join them together, cut it out, post it, kept posting, down the years. I think currently he's a regional something, program manager of something. And from my best of knowledge, I don't think he even has it. I don't know. Okay, I stand to be corrected here, but the last time I checked through his LinkedIn, that's if it's updated, he doesn't have an MPH. This is what most public health officials like me and a few of my colleagues were actually certified to do, to essentially come out and educate people about some health conditions and all that. But then you find out that some people will now be letting public speaking, which is a tool, stop them from presenting. That's already a challenge, right? So we're saying it again. Halil said, an introvert that enjoys people. Yes, so I'm an introvert that enjoys people. And then one thing I know that I usually do is that if you are not in my space, right, I will not even bother. So I'm talking about weeks. I could go on 3 weeks, 4 weeks alone. So my friends go a lot when it comes to that. But then I'm grateful that I'm also learning the place of holding relationships super dearly and releasing my faith as regards also being able to stretch in that direction. So somebody said, a purpose loud enough to open your mouth to speak. Awesome. So an introvert can be a great speaker. Loud your voice. Awesome. So okay, so Simi is an introvert, officially breaking out from now henceforth. You're welcome to the family. Okay, so somebody is saying, Rhoda said, this is part of the best decisions I've made by joining this class. Awesome, thank you so much. So Jake says, massive value. So Rhoda said, is your purpose loud enough? Do you think you should be a loudspeaker? Then start. Rhoda also said, you never know when you can earn until you start until you start. Awesome. So like we said, now as I was talking about Aproko currently, you can't talk about the amount of industries right now that he's currently a face for. I mean, time to time when I see some of his posts, I will literally see ads, and there's no way that man is not making close to 7 figures every month. There is no way. You can't tell me. Even if they're paying him 10,000 naira for something that he's probably used to always churning out weekly, I think it's worth the while. So that's why we're saying, please step out and start something. So this is me also wearing my motherhood coat right now. For everybody who is currently in the community who will be starting your journey this week, this is me encouraging you. Pay attention to that one skill that you can dish out effortlessly without pressure. Start there. If you have pressure, go back, watch your videos. For me, I love to hear myself. I had to start learning to hear myself. So after every meeting, I literally sit back and just, while I sleep, I meditate on the entire event, where I slurred, where I made some mistakes. I'm like, good, another time to step out next week. So if few of you want to make mistake, you're cuddled up, you will just swear that you never do another thing in your life again. But we are saying, no, that's not how to do it, right? When you make that mistake, it's another opportunity for you to step out. That's why we brought people like Mommy Olushola here. Then we also brought Apostle Olaomi as well here, so that you also know what the standard is. Yes, knowing the standard doesn't mean that you should not step out where you are, because I will say it again. I have sat down and I have meditated. I have concluded, and I've taken it to the bank and I've cashed it. I've seen that nobody can beat a consistent person. Even if you hate people, there are some people that we said online. Okay, so this is me probably taking it down to online. So you see people on Facebook, you see them on Instagram. Some people will say that, me, I cannot do what they are doing. Some people will shake. We know people currently who are dominating the social media space, who just were, I don't know if saying twerking, they twerked for 5-10 years and now they are known everywhere. I mean, I can call names. So I now ask you, I said, okay, if somebody did not think about their family members, the shame it can bring on their family just because they want to start earning, or they want the traffic, or they want to be paid, how much more you that has value? I mean, you that has value, you that know what it is that you want to share with people, and then you're now worried that a tool you're supposed to use will now be dictator of whether you should speak or not. So I'm hoping that, please, when you step out more often, you find out that it's going to be super easy. I mean, what I can do is maybe during the week we can do our before and after. Maybe we'll get some people's old conversations, maybe even online or internationally, then we put them apart to what they are currently doing now. Then you give yourself some grace. That's another strong one. Allow yourself to grow. Every time I come out this Sunday, it's my growth process also. Some of you don't know why I would say 5 o'clock and I'm here is because I'm not only doing it for you. Some people would think that, oh, we're just showing up here for showing up sick. Is that we should get comfortable to saying, opening up your mouth, and literally people hear what you're passionate about, what keeps you awake at night. For preparing for this event, you don't want to know the things that we put into it. You don't want to know until you start hosting events, right? So when we invite you, we know why we're inviting, because we know that we prepare to and nail. And then for some of you who will be hosting this week, I would say again, welcome to your week of sleepless nights. It's just for a short time. Of course, if you're going to get out something excellent out there. But then I would say it again and again. I always am honored to come here. So somebody said something. He said, okay, so somebody said, Cynthia said, public speaking is for all niches and everyone, we just have to start. Awesome. So Shinazo says, nobody can beat a consistent person. Nobody. So I found that online. Even some of these, lately it was the Drake and the, what's his name? What's the second person's name? Please, you guys should help me. Drake and Kendrick, right? They fight. I'm telling you, the person who eventually gets exhausted is the person who stops releasing those back-to-back diss tracks. So if I were Drake, I'll be cooking up something by now already to dish back, and hoping that the next Super Bowl I'll be brought out to sing and probably dish Kendrick. That's how life is. So please don't be somebody who would, okay, because you were invited to speak at one last event and then you had some serious flaws, then you pack up your, hey, let me help you. So just in case you're from other countries, right, and you're listening in, you have an opportunity to probably learn something new, right? So I'm about to maybe talk about a particular language. Somebody said, now person will give up. I don't want to use the other word because it's an F word, but that loses. Okay, let me use loses. So I'm just trying to say the one that usually people say here. Now, person will give up, loss, right? So it means that any single time that you actually stop putting yourself out there, you did not make any sacrifice at all. So make your sacrifice according to pattern. So if you have decided that this is one thing you want to do with your life at this time T, you better go all out, right? Join communities like this community, do well as well too. Tell yourself, okay, it's a new week, we better go out again, we better show up on Sunday again to learn again. That's how to prepare your mind to win. So I'll say it again, even if people are having challenges with you, provided you know that you did not do anything negatively wrong. Let's say they invited you to speak on a particular platform, and after a while, because they said you didn't do well, and maybe they chased you or something and you left, please, if they prove that you were called to do what you're called to do, is to ensure that the platform regardless, you're still able to showcase those skills. So I'm saying it now because there are lots of people in my community who are going to be starting this journey together. See, there will be errors, it's okay, but then we will win this. Okay, so let me see what we're doing so far. Somebody said but okay, so Eno said consistency is key. Awesome. Give yourself grace. Fatih says this monster awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Patsy. So Chinaza said, allow yourself to grow and get comfortable expressing your passion. So I'll say it again. Your passion is one most important thing. What do you want to do here? Why did you even come online? Why are you even posting every day? That is your why. So some of you, when you see me here on Sunday, I have a strong why. Like I said, I've seen people over and over again make it seem like there are certain circles where excellence is. Okay, so because I did this, I did that, I did this, that is what excellence is. And I will say no, because like we said, lots of stereotypes have been broken currently by this generation. So some of you will know people like them, Pella and then Davis. I mean, those people, if you look at them, if you're a professional, you literally cringe. But guess what? The population that is driving and financing them is still this generation, so that we can all just ease up and start stepping out. The more you step out, I mean, the first time I heard that guy hold a conversation, I was like, my goodness. So this is also further buttressing the fact that irrespective of your generation, communication might mean different things for your niche. It's expedient you know what niche you belong to, right? I'll say it again. Some of you are not MCs, you're not compares, okay? You are not event hosts. Don't put the pressure of those niches on yourself. First of all, what are you here to do? Let's say you're a health educator. I'm here to educate people on health. So it means that health education is more important than how I just deliver. So, but then, of course, the reason why we are saying again is that we don't come and we just see people online and we're just looking at them and they're looking at us, or we go to a public speaking event and we're looking at them and we're looking at them and they're looking at us. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we provide some of these avenues, so that you can just up your game a little bit, a little more. And guess what? With every stepping out, your life usually would not be the same again. Awesome. So I'm looking through the comment section again and said, you don't have to be awesome. You don't have to start to be consistent. Princess says start, then okay, start to be consistent. Awesome. So Blessing says, I will have to break out from this limitation. Awesome. Knowing your niche will make your work much more easier. So okay, so I don't know why my second lead speaker is delaying a bit. Don't worry, we'll all just wrap up. So far, let me just hear. Do we have any questions for our discussions so far? Let's see. If you have any questions so far, please just leave a question. Otherwise, I will check out on him. My team will also help check out on him again. If it's not something, if you can't reach out to him, you might have to just call it a night. But then I said, please ensure that you are registered. I would want to take a moment to also apologize to our YouTube viewers. I mean, I had a challenge. I think we set up, my team set up the event again the way we set it up last week, and somehow we eliminated, up to now the YouTube is still trying to receive data from our streaming platform, and that is not nice. So please, this is my apologies. I said I will have to restream this event again on YouTube, please. So if we could fix it, it's fine. For those people whose relatives, because I noticed that some people also said that they want to be certified, but they don't have a LinkedIn and they're probably not on Facebook as well. So please just let me know if you have a particular date where you think that we can as well share this live event. I would choose a particular day, else I'll just drop it up on YouTube as well, because every single time we stream is already saved in the studio, so I can always just restream again. I think there was an error in curating the event, so it's still not picking for YouTube. So please, YouTube people, I apologize. In fact, I'm more pained for that. Okay, so do we have any questions, especially students in our boot camp? Please, if you have any question now, this is your time. For everybody who has come so far, thank you so much for coming in. So, but students in the boot camp, if you have any question right now as regards preparing for your presentations, because we said already you are supposed to click everything that is probably in the box. We had already curated some polls in the group asking you what you would want to do, because like we said, this week we're going to be hosting events through the chosen persons, everybody you choose in your own niche. So let me look right back into the team. So we have 3 teams. There's the team money, team skills, team consistency. And essentially, we're going to be having presentation based on your niche. Okay, so if your team skills, it means that your own group is going to be essentially discussing how to help beginners. So public speaking, let's say your niche is public speaking. So you can say public speaking for beginners. So that is for team skills. Then team consistency is probably in implementation. So one of the things I've noticed in this bootcamp as well, and generally haven't worked with over, our events now, we've crossed 30,000 persons, right? So it literally means that one thing that I've seen that always make people stand out is the fact that they either just implement. So I see people pay for courses for months, in fact 6 figures, and still they don't show up. So that's where the challenge is. There's always implementation gap. So consistency team, you're going to talk about the how to let's say how to become a how to, what's the word now, give me one moment, let me think through it. How to become how to start your YouTube journey. This is just me coming up with something random. I didn't think through this, right? How to start your YouTube journey. So that's for the people under team consistency. Then people under team money will be monetization of any particular niche. So you now know how to monetize your niche and you want to share with people essentially. So 3 groups for this week's practical. So I'm saying it again, 3 groups for this week's practical. So if you probably chose wrongly, you might want to just what's the word now, spread yourself properly. We want at least, maybe let's say 5 persons per group. We'll choose one person. We'll cast a lot on who eventually probably whose platform we're going to use. Like we said, if your team does super well, we'll move them to a Sunday event, just them. They'll just enjoy themselves. We'll just come sit down on the back, probably moderate, introduce the community, and have you converse. But essentially, everything we want to do is to make sure that you are growing in this skill. Like I said, everything we did today about the event is not to put any form of pressure on you. Like I said, you are okay where you are. I mean, people who do things, like we said, like she said, she's a media veteran. When she comes out, she'll be like, oh, she's into media. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? But the goal is, like I said, at the end of every event you do, did people learn? Did people grow? Did you move one step into your vision? Are you now doing better than you were doing before? Those are essentially all the questions you would have to answer for yourself, right? So I'll still say it again. If you have any questions from especially our team members, every other person who has joined in, thank you so much for joining in so far. Please just know that our curtains are open. Our graduation again is this week Sunday for our students. We're going to be graduating able leaders, right, of this particular cohort. I mean, it has been 3 weeks long journey of pressure and light, and we are all doing so well. Okay, so somebody said, let me see, is there any other question? Okay, can the question be more specific? Sorry about that. Please, can the question be more specific for this event? Jake is saying, how do you put together a speaking event or community for students? Awesome. Okay, so well, this is part of our module in our our what do you call it? Our monetization bootcamp. So it's actually a paid part. So you might want to just send me a DM and then we'll get to that. Somebody said, when is the next cohort starting? We're going to be starting the next cohort in 2 weeks. But then, of course, for me, I want to insist that we have as many people come on board. But then we're going to have our offers come out this week so that people who would want to participate in our early bird can quickly just jump on board. But if you are interested, please make sure that you are already in the general community. One of the newsletters, I think I had 2 posts go live while this event was on. One was for my newsletter. So one thing you might want to do is just click on the newsletter. You see a link to join our second community. Our first community is filled up. So our second community, once you come in, send a message to any of the admins in the community, right? And just tell them so that I can give. Most times what we want to do is also we want to review the prices of our last cohorts. Yes, we want to review the prices of our last cohorts because we don't want to charge the same for the last cohort. So if you would want to jump into our students this evening, you can as well just send me a DM. So between today and tomorrow morning, you can just send me a message. We can already have you on board, but then definitely we'll review the prices as well. Somebody said, can you help me send this link to my DM? Okay, so she said it's essentially that for you to have the link, all you have to do is to press on the link a little more harder, then it will come up, and then you paste it on a free browser, a clear browser. So like I said, so Jake, if you'd want that, please send me a DM. I can help you with all that. Like we said, it's also part of what we do in our monetization bootcamp. So all the people you're going to be seeing curating their events next week, well, if they want me to come on board, I will come on board. But if they don't, you might not know. But then we made sure that most of our students are going to present next week. So please, like we said again, please give them all the support, help them share, like you've always helped us, right? So I was so grateful for the turnout of today's event, right? I mean, I don't know how to explain that. Okay, this amount of people are still here, like towards the end of the meeting. I will always say that I honor you. Please do well. Like we said, I'll share again 4 things you need to do. Please, we're going to curate our next event already by the end of this event. Please help us share. That's how we get more reach. We said also for you to prove that you were part of this event, just share at least 1 post per week for these 4 weeks of this event. Just 1 post per week to tell people that, oh, this is what you learned. And please tag the speakers appropriately where you learned something. It's just an honorable something, right? It's not like you wouldn't have gotten this idea, but somehow you just came into this event and then all of a sudden your ability to just step out into your dreams and goals have already been refired. I think it's just more like the exchange. Even if you can't send money, like I said, if you're here, you want to send me money, please. I also have an angel link on my seller account. So if you want to send me money, please do well to send me money. I don't reject money. Nobody will. But you might just want to tag them to just say a big thank you. So we said also that if you want to use a playback, so that's why we're actually also taking our attendance in events, because on the playback, once we take the attendance, we note the time people register, and it has to fall within our event dates, right? So even if you find the link somewhere and you think you want to play a fast one, we will not send you the email. So any email, by the time we're concluding this course, right, in our 3rd, 4th week, we will send an email to everybody with requesting for the appropriate name that they would want to be on their certifications. We will certificate you, and we want you to also just help us by advocating. And I'm hoping that a lot of you would just take the energy, suck it in, and start talking. Please, I'll say it again, your money depends on it. So I told about my story. Our last speaker was supposed to be from the US. So he actually has a community of monetized speakers. I mean, they even have all the connections to get you from Africa to the US to speak. Of course, you have to make some sacrifices. I'm just saying this now so that some of you, when you see me in the US talking about public health, don't say I did not show you the way. Okay, now this is me laughing, but don't say that I did not show you the way, right? And don't say that I did not host an event where I didn't bring everybody, and I did not gatekeep as well. So those are part of the things I would want you to also pay attention to. So I'm going to look into the conversations today. If we have to, if we don't have any further questions from our students for the evening, I don't mind. We can call it a day. I don't think there's so much pressure. So I'll just give us maybe 2-3 minutes for any questions. If you have any questions, please let me know. So if you have any question that has probably been a challenge to you, please let me know. Then yes, one more thing, we're looking for volunteers. Our media team is growing, so we want more people in our Evangeline is in charge. Evangeline, please, if you're currently on this live, please drop a message so that everybody can see you. Okay, for me, I said that what you have to do is to click hard on it, then copy. Type the link out and paste to your browser. Excellent. That's what Prudence did. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, no problem. Maybe when the event end, it will be a little bit clearer. Okay, so Fumi, you're saying it will work. Okay, so maybe what we'll do for today, we'll give a little grace to it, since we're going to close a little bit earlier today. So we have more people converse. I don't know how I sound because I had to use my older headset. So let's see how this goes. So if we don't have any questions, I'll give 5 more minutes if we don't have any question. And if my speaker from behind is not here, I will have to call it an evening. Awesome. So this is Evangeline. Please reach out to her if you currently want to volunteer to be a part of our media team. She will take your information as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Evangeline. That was very apt. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So if we don't have any further questions, community members, I'm going to be ending the live soon, right? So I will say again, thank you so much. If you're meeting us for the first time, my name is Dr. Vivian Magnus. I'm the founder of the Phoenix Gates Group. Essentially, the vision of Phoenix is to see people rise, right? To see people become everything. We're like a community. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We're a community of seekers. We're a community of people who are passionate about growth. So we said every week, we're not the people who know it all. That's why we're coming out, right? That's why we are training ourselves every day. And this is me essentially owning up. I tell a lot of people when we have our meetings in the community and they're like, "Woo, Dr. Vivian, that was hot." And I'm like, remember that I'm a medical doctor, right? So it means that I literally upskilled to give you what you want. So that's why we're essentially positioning ourselves again for more upskilling. So every single time, every week by 5 p.m. GMT plus 1, please come out and upskill. Come out and upskill. Call your friends. If there are people who are always consistently begging you for money, you're not doing well to always give them money. Come and show them how to fish, right? If you have that money, pay for our courses. Like we said, our bootcamp is starting. If you want to be a part of the bootcamp, just send me a DM now. Just send bootcamp, right? So that we'll probably just give you the last price list for this last camp. But like we said, we're not going to go on with that price list because of course we have come up with so many other things that we will be adding. So every group of persons we upskill, every group of person we change it. So for the people who did in our first cohort, they didn't have an opportunity to present like this, right? They're not going to be having the opportunity that people are going to be having this week. So we're saying that please do well to just, if somebody's asking for money insistently, just send my contact. So we have some people in the community who were literally sponsored. So if you're currently here, you're from the UK, you're from the US, and you'd like to sponsor a set of person, maybe 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, please do well to reach out to me so that we can get as many people on board, right? Like we said, nothing is free, even in Freetown. And then that's where my energy comes in. I mean, they know literally almost every day. Our first class in the boot camp, we did 5 hours straight because I didn't want to have anybody confused. So, I mean, I sat down with them and spoke didactic. I mean, we'll go back and front. Of course, we'll go didactic, then we go two-way, we go didactic, one on one. We spent 5 good hours making sure that nobody was confused at the end, people who were present. So I'll still say it again. One thing you need more importantly in this time and age is your ability to implement and your ability to believe. Anything that anybody tells you, just say yes first and do it, right? Just start, right? If you make the mistake, once you've done it, you know a better way not to do it again. And that's why we're saying, please know what you should be doing now. Don't just be there chasing just comments and like. Know why you are on LinkedIn, what you want to offer. So that was part of the things we did for our first class. We had a one-on-one with literally almost everybody, and we did 5 hours straight. No pressure. Like I said, that day that I had a speaking engagement, I spoke for 4 hours without sitting down. And that's exactly, it's just my passion. It's something I was wired for. So I believe that I'm also here to help as many that we can help. So please make sure you fill the attendance for the night. I think we can call it a day. So I would want to say thank you so much for always coming out en masse. I mean, today the numbers were huge, and I was so pleased that every single time we stretch. I mean, like I said, you can't find anybody who is currently on LinkedIn You don't know the energy it takes to maintain this long, right? If you're probably having your first event and you're having 100, 500 is understandable. But being able to show up every week and you still see people come, they have seen a star. And that's why we are also coming out. And I just want to say that I honor you and I'm grateful for you. To have an amazing day. So I'm going to be turning off the our live events in, I will always count, but I just want to say, please take a moment to just say hello to everybody who is currently in the comment section. Okay, I'll just turn on the overlay. You could just say your buys or whatever you got. You could just leave some of your thoughts and then we'll call it a day. I'll give us 3 minutes, probably just leave some of our last conversations. If we had more speakers on the live, this would have been when I would say, hey, everybody say good night, but then, or good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. So let me see some of the people that will be leaving conversations. Please do well to leave some conversations. So Jake said, thank you, Dr. Vivian, for always showing up to uplift our mindset, sharpen our minds and skills. You're amazing. Thank you so much. So Teresa says, thank you so much for sharing so much value. Thank you. And as well, I honor you. Thank you so much, Chidima. Oh, thank you so much, Ibmi. Awesome. So yes, Ibmi, about the campaign for child against sexual child abuse. I don't know. There's a particular acronym you normally use. I think the Phoenix Gate will want to partner with you on that so that we can host something in Abuja as well. We can do that work. I think you said somewhere around May. Please, if that is clear, I would like to partner with you. I'll also, please, if you're currently on this live as well and you're in the city of Abuja and you like to participate in the work against sexual, there was something she called it, I've forgotten now. Please, Madam EBM, you could help me say the name properly so that I don't misconstrue that. So we're going to be partnering with her we're going to take a walk. I think that's what she called this. So any information about what you would want us to do, please let us know by showing us and telling us what you would want. Then please, if you're currently in the city of Abuja and you're currently on this live and you would want to partake in the walk against sexual abuse in children. I don't know. I've forgotten the acronyms properly. Please help me articulate that properly so that I don't mince my words here. But then I would say again, please go ahead and reach out to me now. So if you want to be a part of the boot camp, please type boot camp in my DM so that we'll give you the old offers for the night before we do our review by tomorrow morning. Then if you'd want to wait till the review is still okay. Okay, so awareness work against okay, let me see. I think my logo is blocking that. So please leave some more conversations, everybody. Leave some more conversations so that it can go down. Sometimes I have a cold. Let me see if I can take out the logo. Yes, I've taken it out. Okay, so she said awareness work against child sexual abuse. So please, if you're currently in the city of Abuja and you'd want to partake, please send me a DM with your everything, your information and everything you can do. Then she would send us a list of what she would want. If she has already a group for the Abuja branch, she would add us up there because I think it's something worth doing. I hope the dates works out for me as well. Awesome. So thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much, Comfort. Thank you so much, Matami BMB. Thank you so much, Halima, as well. Thank you so much, Rhoda. You guys are simply amazing. Don't forget to please, if you are looking to hire anyone in the community, please do well to reach out to me. I have a lot of excellent persons that I can get you to work with, right? And then if you're looking to be hired, please stick around, right? Find your friends to come around here. This is exactly where we prepare before we get our opportunities, right? So that when we get those opportunities, we are far away from any form of pressure. So awesome. Thank you so much, Diana. I really appreciate you. So I'm going to be ending the live soon. I'm going to be ending the live in 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. I'm always excited to have you on board.